I'm Marin Blake, 35, a marketing manager in Lincoln, Nebraska, living in a condo I paid for with coffee breath and late-night decks. During a tense Monday stand-up, my phone buzzed on the conference table, a tiny siren slicing through budget talk. A text blinked across the screen from my kid's sister. Tessa, need $2,800 for prom. Send now. My jaw locked. $2,800 for a dress, a limo, a night of selfies. I typed back under the table, "Earn it yourself." The reply arrived minutes later, two separate messages that landed like slaps. From my mother, Diane, "Pay or don't call yourself family." From my father, Carl, "Do the right thing." Heat climbed up my neck. For years, I'd wired money to a joint family account I'd opened. Bills, groceries, the basics. I told myself, emergencies. Yet here I was, being shaken down for satin and rhinestones. Anger rose. But something colder threaded beneath it, the realization that I'd been useful, not loved. That night, I paced my living room, replaying their words until the carpet felt thinner. I scrolled bank transfers. $1,200 here, $800 there. A string of kindnesses I'd labeled duty. I thought of Tessa's birthday parties that sparkled while I worked weekends, of Diane's quick excuses, of Carl's quiet "Can you help?" At midnight, I stood over my laptop with the same steadiness I used to approve a campaign. Finger by finger, I cut the cords I'd tied. Subscriptions I covered for them canceled. Auto transfers canceled. Alerts enabled. The joint account stayed open, but my faucet was off. By 8:30 the next morning, the world felt tilted, eerily quiet. Then an email from the bank flashed: urgent, large transaction alert. My stomach dropped. This wasn't about prom anymore. This was a pattern. The alert said $5,000 had left the joint account at dawn. I stared at the figure, pulse thudding. Rent money for them or another whim. Either way, it carried my name. I needed facts, not guilt. I walked 2 doors down to legal and knocked on Ellen Ward's office. She'd left for law school and come back sharper. "Quick favor?" I asked, voice steady. Minutes later, with my credentials and her calm, we were in the bank portal. The ledger told a story my memory had tried to redact. Months of large transfers to card issuers, auto finance, a lender I didn't recognize. Then the smaller tabs, boutiques, restaurants, a travel agency, and unbelievably, a prom planner. Ellen scrolled, brow tightening. "This isn't groceries," she said. "They're covering debt and lifestyle." We pulled statements by year. The total knocked the wind out of me. $100,000 withdrawn since I'd opened the account. I remembered Diane's soft, urgent voice. Carl's "just this once." Tessa's sparkle. And then a second mortgage buried in the logs. I closed my eyes, then closed the faucet properly this time. I called the bank and froze transfers, revoked cards, reset alerts. Then I wrote one careful email: "The account is closed to you. I know about the withdrawals. There will be no more money." Phones detonated. Tessa first, outraged and breathless. "You can't do this." "For what? Another dress?" I asked. She hung up with a strangled sound. Diane texted paragraphs about survival. Carl sent a single line: "Think about what you're doing to us." I did. Then I chose myself. I printed everything. Tomorrow, I would bring the statements to their house. I drove to their split level at noon with a folder under my arm and the brittle calm of a sleepless night. Diane sat on the couch. Carl hovered by the window. Tessa scrolled without looking up. I laid the papers on the coffee table. "I know about the second mortgage," I said. "About the cards. About the prom planner." Diane's mouth pinched. "You don't air family business." "You made it my business when you spent my income," I replied. Carl bristled. "We were drowning. You were supposed to help." "I did help," I said, tapping the totals. $100,000. That was for necessities. You used it to postpone consequences and pad Tessa in silk. Tessa finally looked up, cheeks burning. "I didn't ask you to open that account. You asked for $2,800 and called it love," I said. "Love is not a wire transfer." Voices rose, then cracked. They demanded, defended, deflected. I didn't shout back. I gathered the pages and stood. "Here's the boundary. No more money. If you want my presence, it has to be without invoices. Diane blinked, but no apology came. Carl said, "Then we're finished." I nodded. "If that's your choice." I left, blocked numbers in the driveway, and sat until my pulse slowed. Weeks passed. A cousin texted. Bankruptcy filed. House listed. Tessa took a retail job. I felt grief and oxygen. I met with Ellen, closed every loophole, built a budget with my future at the center. Therapy helped me unhook guilt from duty. When spring came, I donated the gown I'd once bought for a gala. A girl choosing thrift twirled in it, laughing. That joy that was the right place for it.